Hey everybody, what's up? It's Reed. Well, this week on Transtastic, we are talking about holidays. I would like to first start this video by saying trans people are not the only people who have trouble around the holidays. I know a lot of cis people and people outside of the LGBTQ community who have a lot of depression around the holidays and everything like that. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there that, trans people obviously aren't the only people who have trouble around the holidays. That being said, I kind of just want to run through my experiences over the course of my coming out process and everything with my family around the holidays because I think that there's sort of a progression with the trans community generally that they have around the holidays. I mean, obviously, this differs person to person, but this is just my experience of the coming out process with being trans during the holidays. My transition, I feel, really began when I started taking tea because I didn't really come out like that far in advance before I started taking tea. I think that tea really was like the solidifying moment of when my transition began for me. I'm not saying that to be trans you have to be on T, or that nobody's transition begins until they go on T. I'm just saying that my coming out publicly coincided really closely with going on T, so that's kind of my measurement for when I started being out as trans. So I went on T November of 2011. It is now December of 2013, so let's go a step back and go to the holidays 2010. I wasn't really out. I had told my parents that I was thinking about transitioning and that I was questioning whether or not transition was right for me. However, they pretty much shot me down and were very unsupportive at first, and they were like, no, this isn't happening. The person I was dating at the time, I wasn't really using male pronouns in any area of my life at that point. My friends were kind of starting to try male pronouns and try out a name and everything like that, but I was still very unsure. So when I went to my family's house around the holidays, it was really hard for me because I didn't know what I wanted to be referred to as, and I didn't know what my identity was, but I knew that I wasn't female, and I knew that the name that they were calling me and the pronouns they were using felt wrong. And not being able to vocalize that, I just felt very just repressed all the way around. I felt like I wasn't being true to myself and I wasn't me, and that caused me a lot of depression. I was just not looking forward to the holidays at all, and usually, the holiday season was something that I looked forward to in the past. So the holiday season after that, I started tea and I was out and I came out to my family and I went to Thanksgiving and Christmas and everyone used the wrong pronouns. They asked me awkward questions and some of them were supportive but some of them weren't, and I felt like I couldn't really speak up. Thanksgiving was like a week after I started tea and Christmas was like a week and a month after I started tea, so like my voice hadn't changed and like nothing had happened yet, and I still felt very repressed, I guess. My identity was repressed, and as a result, I was depressed about that. So, holidays 2012, I was a little bit more convicted in my identity, and it was kind of a shock for people who hadn't seen me since the previous holiday season because I looked and sounded pretty different. But people were trying, and they were trying to use the right pronouns and the right name and everything like that, and, that was really helpful. And instead of, denying that anything was going on, they would just write a big R on my cards or, whatever. And then this year, everything went smoothly. And last year there were a couple hiccups on pronouns and everything like that, but this year everything went smoothly. Everybody knew what name to use, everybody knew what pronouns to use, and, everything went well. I think that people's inner struggle around the holidays is it's a time to be around family and a time to put your differences aside kind of and, be merry. However, it's really hard to do that if your identity is being blatantly ignored or, swept under the rug, because the battle becomes, how far do I go to meet you in the middle? If you're not willing to use the right name or the right pronouns or even try, or, whatever, like, where's the middle? Where do I meet you in the middle? And I think that's a lot of the struggle around the holidays for a lot of people, is where is the middle, and finding the common ground and being able to say, okay, this is what I can tolerate and this is what I can't. So even though the holiday season is over, my advice for the next holiday season is kind of go in with some boundaries and say, maybe the name isn't going to be right on my labels for Christmas. Maybe there might be some slip-ups of pronouns or, whatever. However, they're doing this. Just go in with, like, some boundaries. And you could even express that to them if you want. You can send an email around to your family or a Facebook message or whatever you want. I know that you know that I'm trans, and I don't expect you to be 100% on board, but I do expect you to respect my identity. Expect you to respect when I am around you, and I expect you to not be rude, because that's really all it comes down to, right? We don't want people to be rude to us. We just don't want that. But if anyone watches my personal channel, I made a video last year around this time talking about my anxieties, about how the holidays went. Oh my God, what was that? It was just a water bottle, not to worry. I talked about my anxieties on how the holidays were going to go, and I'm going to make a video this year talking about how the holidays went for me this year in great depth and detail. But just remember, keep your head up, because the holidays are just, they're just one area, so use it as kind of a test run for people. Like I said, voice your needs, you got to be vocal about your needs, because otherwise people just aren't going to know, and, awkward shit's gonna happen. Okay, sorry for this long-winded video. If you haven't subscribed to my new channel, please subscribe. I will link it right here. And I will also leave a link in the down bar below. And thanks for watching, and I love you all. Bye!